Hey, welcome. This video is for those people that are thinking about redesigning some part of the yard. It's a landscape and design video, and we just did this. We are about 14, 15 months into it. We're going to talk about three principles. First principle, of course, you got to have a focus point, center, the eye of the individual. Second, you want low maintenance as much as you can get by with it. Third, you want color contrast. And then there's always a fourth wild card. For us, that was having color year-round in our front yard. So let's take a look at it. The first principle of the design, of course, is to draw the focus of the individual to the center point, which is obviously the end of the sidewalk up there to the porch where we have some flowers planted. This is winter time, by the way, so there's some pansies up there. The second principle is low maintenance. Everything in here is low maintenance, not a lot of pruning. You prune it as you go, but none of those require heavy pruning. So that meets our second principle. And then the third principle is the color contrast. These firepower, when it gets cold, they turn red like that. That's about as tall as they're going to get. They may get up another foot, but that's their purpose. Little backdrop. In the front there is where you place your annuals. Those are pansies. They did not make it due to a drought, but they may make it back. So we're just letting them stay to see what happens. And then, of course, the ruby and the gold mop contrast. And then you have the dark green of the hollies. Now, the mulch choice, okay, we just put this in along with the brown. And so it makes the golden mop pop a lot, the hollies pop a lot, and the firepower. And it also contrasts well with our lawn, which is a cool season lawn. So that was the fourth objective by the entire design, was we wanted color in our front yard during the winter months. And these in the sidewalk garden here, they're all evergreens anyway, so they're pretty much year round. But what we were looking for was a nice looking yard in the middle of winter. So you can see here, that's just a great contrast. The mulch from last year turned gray more than less. So putting this brown mulch down really makes this golden mop cypress pop. We did consider putting down a ground cover, a live ground cover. However, again, one of our objectives is low maintenance. So a live ground cover, sure, it looks great, but you're going to get weeds in there that you can't really see. And with this plain mulch bed, it's easier to spot any weeds that come up when they're young and get rid of them immediately. Also, these are only in the ground. This is 1 year they've been in the ground. They're going to fill in. The spacing is by design. You want to watch that if you've never planted anything. So this will get roughly 3 foot wide. We'll try to keep it at 4 to 5, although those can get up to 6 foot tall. However, at 3 foot wide, there's plenty of space on both sides, so it's not touching the adjacent plant. This loropetalum, which is in dire need of some balanced fertilizer, which I will do today, in fact, that too will get no more than 3 foot wide, and so forth. So eventually you'll have a semi-hedge here, multicolored, and it's covering the ground well. So a ground cover in between these plants would eventually turn out to be pointless anyway. Okay, so We simply chose not to do a ground cover and do it this way. Mulch is also very low maintenance. Weeding in mulch is a breeze. If you don't have ground cover, you can easily see, hey, this is not supposed to be here. So that lower petulum also needs, I'm going to need to feed all of the lawers. They are struggling for nutrition, it looks like. Of course, we had a pretty good drought there in the fall. I'm sure that's part of the issue as well. The design is not only for visitors, also the resident, right? You got a nice walk here with some decent landscaping, nice and clean, simple, easy maintenance. Key objective, easy maintenance. These hollies, by the way, that will be shaped into a ball, and that will be conical form that eventually one day we can decorate for Christmas. Okay, you got your central point. Obviously we use this every day to check the mail except Sundays. It's just a pleasant, you know, it's not a big time landscaping project, but it's better than what it did look like by far. This has had 3 different designs over the years, but I think we got what we want finally. And you can see again this nice contrast of colors even between the mulch and the lawn. The key there in our area is to grow a cool season lawn so you have nice green lawn in the wintertime. When you're designing, you need that focal point. You need to get the eyes focused on something. Even if you're doing like a little maze garden, there's going to be an end point to it where you want people to end up. Could be a place to sit, could be a place to wander through a new garden, but you kind of want to train that eye to a focal point. Low maintenance as much as possible. You don't want to plant a bunch of stuff that you'll be spending a lot of time pruning and taking care of, so low maintenance is number 2. Number 3, for any design, you want some color contrast. It could be in the same color family, like you could have different shades of green if you want to go that route, and maybe add a yellow, whatever, that pops out by itself. Over here we did just every other contrast, so when it grows up, you know, you're walking through this color palisade, or whatever you want to call it, color palette, and you know, whether you're coming out or coming in, just gives you a nice vibe. And then of course there's always a 4th, and as said, for us, we wanted a front yard in the winter that had a lot of color. And we can say even from last year, people that drive by here regularly complimented us on that particular point, so mission accomplished. If new here, please consider subscribing. We do some landscaping, we do some gardening, we do some herb gardening, we got some chickens, we do some landscape design, and Chef Beth, my wife, is also part of the channel. Every once in a while we get some cooking videos out when, you know, when it's appropriate. It's not a cooking channel though, it's a gardening channel. See you on the next one.